For many years now, the Ifugao rice terraces, known as the eighth wonder of the world, has been losing much of its grandeur and beauty to neglect. Many fear the terraces might soon become a thing of the past, relegated to pictures and history books that chronicle the farming tradition we had as long ago as 1,000 years before Christ. Here's our story of our trip to the terraces. It took 3 hours of rugged mountain trekking and another hour to get down to the terraces via steep stone steps. But seeing the Ifugao rice terraces was worth it.
To me, I value it as gold. We were taught by our parents to own that. Owning a rice field in Banawi is an honor, is a privilege, a great privilege. But now, our generation do no more value that. Maybe in a few years from now, the rice terraces of Banawi will no more be there.
The elders of the Ifugao province have reason to despair. The land they till is giving in to the ravages of time and neglect, and very few people seem to care. Imagine that 2,000 years ago, these mountainsides were covered with rice terraces built by the Ifugaos. Today you can barely see the outlines of the remains of this eighth wonder of the world. 30% has been lost to landslides, lack of water, and neglect by farmers who have chosen to migrate to the lowlands. Elena Wadoy has been farming since she was 15 years old. Gaano ho kadaming sako ng bigas ang naaani dito sa isang lugar na ganito?
Mga datutut ko 150
bundles. Mga ilang sako yun?
Ako nga mulo isa ko. 3 sacks.
3 sacks. Elena says farming on the terraces is hard work. No farming machinery or even carabaos can be used to help them plow the paddies. And harvest time doesn't come until 7 months later. Upon harvest, the rice is kept for family consumption.
Tara kanin ni.
Kayo lang ang kumakain nun. Napakadaming trabaho para dun sa kakainin nyo.
Kasi ano nga katbasit mit, dito lang.
Paano ito na lang ang meron.
Ayun. Hindi ho ba mas mura na bumili na lang kayo ng bigas kaysa magtanim dito at i-harvest ng pagkatapos ng 6 na buwan?
Narigat mo kas dita. Isungahan mi nga irakod ta kwa. Diyay no, may ibusang kami kit awan ti kwarta mi, awan ti gatang mi. Isungahan mi nga ilako.
Wala silang pera?
Hindi namin ipinagbebenta kasi wala kaming pera.
Pwede ho ba kayo magtanim ng mas marami para pwede nyo ibenta yung sobra?
Kung maano, ado titalon nga basit mit. Basit titalon ti may sanga tao.
Kung marami sanang bukid, pwedeng magbenta. Kulang yung bukid.
Kulang yung bukid. Mang George has been tilling his land for nearly 60 years now. Like most farmlands in Banawe, he inherited this one from his parents, handed down from 4 other generations before them. Tradition dictates that Mang George hand it down to his 6 children who will have to care for it. But there is one problem.
Do you still tend to your rice terraces?
Yes.
You're still fully into it, huh?
Yes.
What about your children?
I should not till my rice field. Should be given to my children now or to my grandchildren, but they do not care.
Farmers like Elena and George are forced to continue working on the land themselves. When the children have grown, they leave in search of work in the lowlands. Many of them say the rewards they get for working on the rice paddies are no match for the more tangible rewards of labor outside their hometowns. George's daughter Marie now has a family of her own. She says it would be impractical to rely on just the rice paddies.
I love gardening, but now that I am a teacher, I'm facing my
professional way, teaching the young.
Don't you feel a sense of duty to, try to carry on with the tradition? Don't you feel that? I mean, it's your generation already. Your father should be retiring. What are you doing? Why are you teaching? Why don't you try and see what you can do for the rice terraces? Do you feel any sense of duty that way?
I feel a sense of duty, but it's because the production is limited. It cannot sustain us. So it's unfair. How can you live?
My daughter is speaking correctly. That's what you said. That's what I have said.
Tilling the rice terraces is more demanding than tilling an ordinary rice field. For one, farmers here do not use any chemicals or fertilizers to improve the harvest. Everything is organic, and farmers work on each paddy, most of the time, using only their bare hands. What makes things worse is that the harvest is limited to only one throughout the entire year. Banawe has the most number of rice paddies, and yet the produce is not enough. Many still have to get their rice from Nueva Vizcaya and the Cagayan Valley. George says he continues to farm the land himself, if only to prevent the terraces from deteriorating.
What will happen to the rice terraces if no one tends to them?
It will turn into dry land and then no more rice field. It will be all turned into, I don't know what will happen.
But what will surely happen if the rice terraces continue to be neglected is that they will die a natural death. If not farmed regularly and quickly, weeds and grass will grow, producing cracks in the soil, which eventually will destroy the contour of the paddies. This has already happened to many of the terraces, and it doesn't help that some of the destruction is caused by natural calamities.
What's the extent of the damage? What percentage?
Maybe around 30% of varying degrees.
Director Juan Dait is chairman of the Ifugao Rice Terraces Commission, a group formed by President Ramos in February 1994 to formulate and implement a master plan to save the terraces. He says natural calamities have rendered some of the terraces useless.
Some are totally destroyed because of the earthquake of 1990, the series of natural calamities where the farmers cannot be able to fix up. And of course there are those that are destroyed, but we can be able to repair, like the ones here in Batad.
But beauty is not all that is lost with the deterioration of this world wonder. With it goes the destruction of watershed areas.
Ito lahat, yung iba dyan, na iwanan lang yan dahil kulang sa tubig.
Kulang sa tubig?
Oo.
I see.
Hindi umabot ng tubig, kaya hindi matatamnan.
Dati ho ba ito punong-puno ng rice terraces?
Yung basta may yung slope, makikita natin. Kung may ganyan, terrace yan. Naiwanan lang yan dahil kulang sa tubig.
This is one type of...
All these factors, Director Dait says, make the need to rehabilitate the terraces that much more urgent.
The terraces are a product of the religion and culture of the people. Remove that culture and you remove the terraces will decay. Therefore, you have to keep on preserving the culture, because from the time the seeds are withdrawn from the granary, to the sowing, to the transplanting, to the cleaning, to the weeding, up to the harvest festivals, this is a series of rituals. This is a living cultural landscape, and so the people annually renew their culture through the cultivation of the terraces. And so we have to maintain the culture of the people in order to maintain the terraces.
UNESCO has recently declared the Ifugao Rice Terraces a World Heritage Site. It is now drumming up support from government and local and international NGOs for the rehabilitation of the terraces.
Do you foresee that the terraces may eventually die?
I foresee the possibility, but we feel that a common effort by government, NGOs, and the farmers themselves could arrest that possibility.
But first, he points out, they have to find ways to make the people stay, to make the idle time in between harvests more productive. Other means of livelihood, from bronze smithing to wood carving, have lost their attraction to most of the younger generation. But Director Diet is confident that their master plan will be effective and will be able to restore the Ifugao rice terraces to what it was before.
Then Ifugao, his home extends beyond the four posts. His home extends to the forests, to the rivers, even to the skies, because he feels that he cannot live without nature. He has a kinship, a kindred spirit with nature which no other man. So he respects his environment.
During the rice cycle, the Ifugaos participate in a kulpi, a prayer ritual to seek the blessing of their God for an abundant harvest. Here they pray that the harvest may grow and never run out, and that their families may never be hungry. For people like George and Elena, it might as well be a prayer to keep the Ifugao rice terraces alive.
Ngayon, 55 years old na ho kayo. Hanggang kailan ho kayo magsasaka?
Ano nga, sumadin kayo. Manitawang na sumadin kayo.
Hindi na ada kaya.
Hanggat hindi kahit pa.
90 years old. Nobody knows.